Ladies and gentlemen, Arknight's Endfield has recently announced they will hold a beta test in January 2025, and along with it, they also released a new gameplay demo that looks absolutely stunning, as well as new information about playable characters, or operators, as what they're called in Endfield, from Endfield official website. They showcased 15 playable characters that should become playable during the game beta test. Well, technically 14, because you can only choose one administrator. But still, that is 6 more characters from the only 9 playable characters during the tech test early this year. Interestingly, all of the playable characters from the tech test are present, except Fial. It's unclear why he's not present for the beta test, but I sure hope we will see the surgeon again. Anyway, let's learn more about each of these operators, based on little information available, mainly from Endfield official site. It seems the tech test operator story is more or less the same, but Angelina's story is quite vague. We do not know if that whole cloning theory from tech test is still relevant or not. And by the way, her codename is changed to Gilberta now. All right, first character we'll see is none other than Endministrator, or Endmin for short. And they are our player character, something like the rover from Wuthering Waves. As shown in the details, Endmin's race is unknown, doesn't have any animal or mythology creatures trait, unlike the rest of characters in Arknight's world. Knowing a bit of Arknight's story, I have assumptions about Endmin identity, but let's assume some other time. From the tech test and the recent gameplay demo, we also know that Endmin is in a guard class. In Arknight's, that class is a melee unit and a damage dealer, mostly dealing physical damage. And fitting that, Endmin's weapon of choice is a one-handed sword. As for their story, Endmin is affiliated with Endfield Industries, the main faction of this game. Based on the information from the tech test, Endfield Industries is an industrial and construction company that actively organizes construction projects in the frontier of Talos II, the astronomical body where Arknight's Endfield takes place. That is technically a moon, but its people regard it as a planet. Endmin is not only a big shot in the Endfield Industries, but also regarded as some sort of legend or hero in Talos, described as a key guardian who protected civilization on this planet and saved humanity from multiple catastrophic disasters. Endmin is also noted to have a mysterious mastery over originium, and is almost always kept in a hibernation pod, only awaken whenever a major crisis hits Endfield Industries or Talos II. Beside the Endministrator, we have the game poster girl, Perlika. Perlika is a Liberi, a race who have the traits of birds. Based on the tech test and recent game demo, Perlika seems to be in the caster class. In Arknights, it's a class that specializes in dealing arts damage from range, which let's just say it's the game's magic. And to unleash those arts, Perlika uses some sort of floating arts unit as her weapon, instead of a staff like in the tech test. For her story, Perlika is the supervisor and also the spokesperson of Endfield. Some of her notable work in the company include laying the cornerstone for the AIC. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the whole automation side of the game is officially called. She's also responsible for managing the ship called Dijiang. That, I assume, is this ship we see in the recent trailers. And this facility nearing the end of the game demo . Additionally, although it's not said in the official site for the beta test, but from the tech test we know that Perlika was mentored by the Endministrator. The official site also said there's a rumor that some of Perlika's organs have been replaced by originium structures. Well, in the tech test, she did have artificial organs and must undergo routine physical exams. Moving to the next character, we have Chen Qianyu. She is a Lung, which is a race that has the traits of Chinese dragons in East Asian mythology. We also know that she is a guard, much like an Endministrator. Although it is not said in the official site, but from the tech test, Qianyu is related to Arknight's Chen, or at least related to her family. And she do view Chen as an idol. Moving on, Qianyu is a native of Hongshan. Supposedly this new region shown in the game demo. She is a specialist for Endfield Industries, who is really skilled in martial arts. And in the tech test, it was also mentioned she is Perlika's personal security detail. Her optimistic and strong-willed nature also makes a lot of people admire her. And it was mentioned that she was voted as the best buddy to have in the field by her fellow Enfielders. Alright, next character we have is Wolfguard. Full name, Catello Wolfguard, based on the tech test. He is a Lupo, a race that has the traits of wolves. He is probably the character that got redesigned the most. Not only his appearance, but in the tech test he was a guard and used a great sword as a weapon. In the beta he is now a specialist and wields handguns. The specialist class in Arknights is, well, that. Anyway, from what I read, it seems Wolfguard is a mercenary under the contract with Endfield, and was a former member of a Landbreaker clan called the Pack. I'm still not entirely sure, but it seems Landbreaker is basically a group of outlaws who are active in the fringes of civilization. In any case, it's all in the past now. The current Wolfguard is now working for Endfield, specializes in stealth and recon missions, and is more than capable to do a solo op. His personality is kind of the opposite from Qianyu, but in the tech test it was mentioned he's not exactly hard to get along with. Probably the most interesting lore bits from the tech test about him is that he once tried to infiltrate Endfield HQ and kidnap Perlika, but ended up becoming an Endfield operator under Perlika's recommendation. Next up, we have a new character that is added for the upcoming beta test. He is called Da Pan, an Ursus no doubt, which is Arknight's race that has the trait of bears. He is a guard like Endmin and Chen, but his weapon is different here, possibly a two-handed sword. Panda is affiliated with Hongshan, Chen's hometown. Specifically, he is affiliated with Hongshan Academy of Science, or HS. It is said he worked doing odd jobs there, but he is notably known for being a very skilled chef. However, it was also mentioned that he owns a special bottle, an item of honor awarded to the major contributor of science, and he is now at Endfield Industries, acting as a liaison for the Academy under Chen's recommendation. All right, next operator is also a new character for the beta test. He is called Li Feng. He is an Anasa. If I'm not mistaken, that is a race that has the traits of demigods in Hindu-Buddhist mythology. Anasa also shares common ancestry with the Sarkaz race, which we will talk soon enough. It's really interesting because the only Anasa we ever see and become playable in Arknights, at least for the global server, is Jieyun. So, Li Feng is a 16-year-old boy that is affiliated with Hongshan. Specifically, he is a part of the Wuling City Guard reservist, who is currently an intern in the Specialist Tech Division of Endfield Industries. It was mentioned that there was once a horrific incident that took the life of his parents and destroyed his right arm. Ever since then, he was forced to mature quickly, especially to take care of his younger sister. And now he has become a capable and dependable young man. Moving on, we got Zaihi. Full name Seraphine Zaihi, based on the tech test. She's a Sarkaz, a race that has the traits of various mythology creatures or spirits and demons. But you definitely don't want to use that D word in front of a Sarkaz. Sarkaz also has plenty of sub-races or tribes, but it's unclear what kind of Sarkaz Zaihi is. For all we know, she might be of mixed blood. Sarkaz is no doubt the race with the biggest lore in Arknights. But for now, let's focus on Zaihi. During the tech test, Zai-He is a caster operator. However, in the beta, she is now a supporter and seems to use a floating arts unit instead of a staff. Zai-He is affiliated with a faction called Cabal of Tranquility. From what I know so far, they are a group of people who dress in a Lateran vibe, who have an odd reverence for technology. Although it's not said on the official site. But from the tech test, it is said at one point Zai-He traveled together with Ember, and also joins Endfield at the same time with her through Endmin recommendation. Zai-He is said to be a calm and gentle young lady who is proficient with originium arts and technology, but it looks like she lacks a bit of social awareness, with how she often says unexpected or confusing things and jumps from one topic to another in a conversation. Next up, we have Ember. From the tech test, her real name is Azrilla. She is a Sancta, basically a race that has traits of an angel. The most noticeable thing about this race is their luminescent halo and wings. As you can see, Ember got a halo, but I don't see her wings anywhere. In the tech test, Ember is a defender and uses a great sword, though in the beta it might be different. Ember is affiliated with the Order of Steel Oath, but it was hinted she might have left the order, or at least temporarily. And as mentioned before, she travels together with Zai-He for a while and joins Endfield with her through Endmin recommendation. She is a battle-hardened warrior, and is noted to be unskilled in conversation, unless the topic is about combat and such. And in the tech test, it is also said she has time blindness. Okay, we have another new character added to the beta test. She is Akut, codename Arclight. She is a Kuranta, a race that has traits of an Equus, you know, like horses and zebras, and even some mythology creatures like Pegasus and Unicorn. One of the things that is often mentioned about Kuranta in Arknight's story is probably about Kuranta having superior stamina than other races. Not much is currently known about Arclight gameplay-wise. I mean, she appears only for a brief moment in the demo, but I suppose she will use a one-handed sword based on her official artwork. Anyway, Arclight belongs to yet another new faction, the Fian Circuit. They seem to be a nomadic group, wandering the wildlands. This group once saved Arclight from a horrible disaster that took the life of her family. Since then, they have taken care of her and taught her their way of life. And now Arclight has also been roaming the wildlands to teach more people how to survive in the unforgiving world of Talos 2. At one point, she also works together with Endfield as a technical consultant. Moving on, we have another new character called Levitain, and she is also a Sarkaz like Zai-He. And yes, there's also not much is known about her gameplay yet. Arknight's players are no doubt curious about her, because her appearance is like one-to-one with Surtur, not to mention she is affiliated with Rhodes Island, Arknight's main faction. Judging from the beta test information about her so far, I believe Levitain is indeed Surtur. The story bits here doesn't suggest she is a different individual. She is still our ice cream lover we all know and love. It's also said she often mentioned the threat of the demons, possibly referring to the demons in the northern Sami, and we know that Surtur spends quite some time there. Her personality here seems to be a bit different, though, because it is mentioned she is an excellent listener and also has exceptional performance at teamwork adaptability and communication skills. Quite different from Arknight's Surtur, who likes to do everything alone and is rude at times. Well, I guess the time gap between Arknights and Endfield does change her a bit. Speaking of which, we do not know yet the time gap between Arknights and Endfield, but even if it's centuries in gap, there's still a chance that Levitain is Surtur, because some Sarkaz are known to have a long lifespan. Not to mention Surtur is unique. She is a vessel for the fragment of a Farenmut called Surtur, basically a god-like being in the world of Arknights. In the official site, It is said Levitain currently works for Endfield because of the agreement between Rhodes Island and Endfield Industries. In her story, Warfarin is also mentioned, quite possibly the same character from Arknights. It is said Warfarin once gave her authorization to spend years in the treacherous north of Talos too to carry out solo missions. Warfarin is mentioned a bit more in the other character's story, and from the looks of it, she has become a more important individual in Rhodes Island now. I mean, she is already important in Arknights, but the way they talked about her here makes me think Warfarin's position is now equivalent to Kaltsit or Supreme Leader Amiya. Next up, we have another new character called Yvonne. She is a Vuivre, a race that has the traits of lesser dragons, like Wyvern, Drake, and Hydra, and most of them are noted to have excellent physical strength and resilience. Not much is known about her gameplay, but in the demo it seems she uses pistols like Wolfguard. So, Yvonne is a scientist in the Specialist Tech Division of Endfield. Unlike your stereotypical scientist, Yvonne comes across as a fashionable girl, and is an extrovert, no doubt. But she is indeed a brilliant person, who is expected to work at a major research institute and lead the advancement of science in this era. However, to people's surprise, she joins Endfield instead. Moving on, we have another new character added for the beta test. She is called Snowshine, an Ursus who is affiliated with Rhodes Island. Not much is known about her gameplay yet, but in the demo we can see she uses a greatsword and possibly uses her shield via her skills. Snowshine is also another character that resembles Arknight's character. Specifically, she resembles Aurora. For now, it's hard to say whether they are the same person or not. If Endfield is in the distant future from Arknights, I don't think she is Aurora, because Ursus is not a race known for their longevity. So the theory here is either she is a clone, or perhaps she is Aurora who went to a cryogenic sleep and only awakened recently. Anyway, Snowshine currently works at Endfield as a member of the SAR team. She is known to be knowledgeable with the geography of the polar region of Talos and other high-altitude regions, and with the rapid expansion of the frontier, her experience is often sought by many. Interestingly, she also wrote a book titled Polar Survival Guide, which has become essential source for surviving and conducting SAR operation in that region. Now we have Angelina Ajamu, who is interestingly renamed to Gilberta for the upcoming beta test. She is a Vulpo, a race that has the traits of foxes. During the tech test, she is a caster operator and wields a staff, but she might be different in the beta. Gilberta is also a character that resembles Arknight's character, Angelina. Information from the tech test heavily implied she is Angelina's clone or something similar. But for all we know, it might get a rewrite for the beta and full release. Gilberta is currently working in Endfield as an agreement between Endfield and Rhodes. She is responsible for mail delivery and intel escort across multiple bases and outposts. That no doubt often requires her to travel long distances. But interestingly, she actually enjoys it. She's also proficient with Originium arts, and is also implied she has the ability to warp gravity to some extent. Gilberta appears to be a sunny optimist much like Chen, and it is said her personality sometimes took Warfarin by surprise and brought her deep nostalgia. Last operator on the list is Aviwena. She is a Caudus, which is a race that has the traits of hares and rabbits. In the tech test, she is a guard, and the only operator who uses a polearm as a weapon, but nothing is known about her beta version. We actually got a bit more about her story from the official site for the beta test. So Avi is an armed messenger who once worked with Talos' two General Chambers of Commerce, or TGCC for short. But she realizes the neon-lit city fraught with lies and cracks between people wasn't ideal for her. And because of that, Despite possibly having already made a name for herself in the big city, she departed from her job and found herself at a rather remote mail depot in the wild frontier, and start to dedicate her life there and helping people in the wilderness, while also working as a messenger going back and forth between Civilization Band and the frontier. Her noble intention didn't go unnoticed by the Endfield Industries, and this amicable and confident lady was eventually invited to join. That should be all. Adios.